After a week break, we finally got chapter 61 of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, and I have to say, this chapter was just hype as all hell. It basically had like the Avengers Assemble moment in this chapter, and I just loved it, how everyone just came onto the scene, and I'll get into that in a second. But before the actual review, let me just say this. Aside from the hypeness of this fight and the setup for a battle against Pelgar between the knights, we got an announcement that there is, in fact, a Four Knights of the Apocalypse anime adaptation. When it's going to come out, it's probably going to be next year. What studio it'll be, I have no clue, but I do have high hopes for it. You know me, I'm a hopeless optimist when it comes to this type of stuff. I made a video back in November when the Grudge of Edinburgh movie came out, around November, that despite the trailer not looking too great, I was going to watch it anyway, and chances are we're all going to watch it anyway just for the sake of the plot, to see how it connects to the Four Knights, and that there was rumors of an actual anime adaptation for the Four Knights. Now we got an official announcement, so I'm optimistic, but as easily, if it's still Studio Dean, it's probably going to end badly, like how the rest of the Seven Deadly Sins was. But if we get at least a more competent studio, and this is better paced out, then I do think that Four Knights of the Apocalypse could redeem the Seven Deadly Sins franchise and brand in the eyes of the anime community, because I feel like this arc, the Leonis arc, is going to be where the anime will initially end off, if pacing is alright. But that long-winded thing out of the way, let's hit that intro and get right into the video. Chapter 61, The Fourth Arrives. And this starts off basically directly after last week's ending page, with Gawain introducing herself as the Master of the Sun, and we get her actual full color scheme, which I like it. It's honestly really nice, and we also get a nice little color spread of the Four Knights on one side and the Seven Deadly Sins on the other, showing the next generation and the previous generation. It's just nice. It's nice. I like seeing the designs of all the seven sins, because this is also something for like the 10th anniversary of the series, which I am excited for. I might do something for the official 10th anniversary that's in October for the manga, but we'll see how that goes. But anyway, chapter starts off with Meliodas seeing the commotion going on at the gate towards the east, and it seems like he's getting ready to move into action. Cutting back to Pelgar unleashing a mass amount of his blaze magic, Percival manages to save everyone within his Percival bubbles and golems to help to protect them from Pelgar's heat. And I like how Pelgar just states the Holy Knight's creed. States like, you think I'm the evil one in this situation. And Percival just says he doesn't hate Pelgar or anything, but if he's with King Arthur and his dad, then he's the enemy. And Pelgar's honestly kind of like, well, okay, you don't hate me, that's a good start, but whatever. And I like how Pelgar was trying to tell him that despite him being a knight or not, Pelgar's magical power is still greater than his. He has no idea how strong he is. And Pelgar just reestablishes that he is going to take Percival back by force as planned, since he isn't a knight of the Apocalypse. Percival rushes towards him with his enchanted sword to try and land a hit, but Pelgar launches an immortal fire attack at Percival, as Percival manages to slash it away with his sword. But, like back in their first encounter, this fireball just bursts into multiple different fireballs swirling about. These are essentially homing attacks as they continue to head towards Percival, and he tries to dodge and slash away at them as much as he possibly can. And slashing attacks don't only work against these fireballs, making it incredibly difficult for Percival to evade them. An wants to go out and help, but Donnie's telling her no, because she basically would be roasted alive out there with all this fire. She has no chance surviving this like Percival does, since he has a high healing factor and his magic can protect them. Then Percival gets a really funny creative idea. He makes a giant Percival golem to suck up all of the fireballs that can be contained in there, and Pelgar is impressed by this and tries something else. He raises the temperature of the fireballs, causing the Percival golem to explode from the inside out, his brilliant hellfire, and it just burned away Percival's magic in that instance. And the rest of the Holy Knights are wondering how they could even defeat him, and Percival just stating, I'm still too weak to beat this guy. And in that instance, as Pelgar is telling Percival, don't feel down, the fact is that there's a strong difference between our powers and you just need more time to mature. And once again asks to join him, but then Gawain just walks up, points her finger at the giant fireball, and just completely destroys it, much to everyone's shock. She just snuffed it out with no problems whatsoever, as she basically, with her prideful demeanor, just says, how rude, you sniveling little fire eater. I like it that she basically just more or less insulted Pelgar in this one instance, and he tries to engulf her in his flames, but Gawain uses her powers to just blast Pelgar back with like no effort whatsoever. Now this doesn't hurt him, but it just pushes him back to a surprise. Like, this is stronger than my flames? How is this possible? And it's confirmed that this magic is 100% golden, as we get to see little sparks around Gawain as she is glowing in her magical power. She states, "How dare you interrupt someone's romance? This is what you get for ruining the lovely atmosphere," basically alluding back to her and Solte's moment back in the previous chapter, which is hilarious and pretty much confirmed that she is into girls. Percival, noticing the golden magic, he runs up to her and asks, "Are you Gawain?" And she's like, "Oh, how'd you know that?" And they're wondering, and there's something like, "Oh, so the final night was a woman?" And Donnie's just ogling her for the fact that she is just so cool and strong. Tristan is flying overhead and notices the magic, swoops down and confronts Gawain, basically scolding her for leaving the castle after he specifically told her to wait there. But she's like, I don't really take orders, which is I find kind of funny. I feel like this dynamic of the group is just going to be just chaotic and frantic, more so than the Sins, because despite their personalities being entirely different in the Seven Deadly Sins, Meliodas as the captain, he managed to wrangle them all together out of mutual respect. I feel like this is, since this group is forming, we're essentially going to get the formation of an actual group bond and, respect for a potential leader, if there is a leader. But then Tristan looks towards Pelgard, noticing that his rage, as Percival just states that he is one of Arthur's knights. And Tristan says, "You haven't learned your lesson yet," as both his eyes turn into his goddess eye and his demon eye, as he is getting serious. Now, everyone's thought, essentially, Tristan only had access to his goddess powers, his holy powers, and perhaps that his demonic powers was his opposite half. But from the looks of it, Tristan just wasn't going all out using both at the same time. So I'm honestly very curious to see how this initial fight plays out. But yeah, Tristan gets serious, is essentially turning on his goddess and demon powers. Gawain is impressed, and Pelgard notices that he has demon and goddess magic, seeing that he's the boy with holy and dark power in his eyes. As we then see Sin at the top of a house being like, "You better get out of here, man. You're way outclassed here." As he jumps off the roof, spins around, and transforms back into Lancelot. Now, I'm glad that Lancelot's probably still going to turn into Sin whenever he needs to get somewhere quick and to sneak around, which is honestly really nice. And even Gawain's like, "Well, that's a really nice trick." And Pelgard talks about how he saw him in the Entangled Forest and realized that he has some kind of strange mystic spirit power. And then he's wondering, like, it can't be. And Percival's group just realized that this is basically the whole group coming together. The whole gang is finally united. An enigmatic shapeshifter of a boy, a child with wing-like green hair, a prince with eyes of holiness and evil, and a woman with golden magic. As he just starts laughing hysterically that he's quivering with excitement to face this quartet of fate, the ones that will bring forth disaster in a prophecy and topple Camelot that Arthur built. The Four Knights of the Apocalypse, ending the chapter with a 2-page spread of the Four Knights just standing valiantly in front of Pelgard's way, getting ready to basically take him on, as we get him just shouting that they are the Four Knights, with all of them having a panel of how serious they look, ending the chapter. Now then, it took a year, but we finally have all four knights completely assembled. This was honestly really nice. I loved this chapter, and I just can't wait to see what happens next. We don't have any breaks for the foreseeable future at this moment. I believe the next 3 chapters are coming out in quick succession until the end of the month. So how I see this arc ending is the four knights are going to basically fight off Pelgard. Now, since this is going to be their first time fighting together, I wouldn't be surprised if they trip all over each other and get on each other's nerves. But I feel like Lancelot, being the more strategic mastermind behind this, views everything that's going on and tries to coordinate everybody. Gawain says that she doesn't really take orders, but perhaps she can take a suggestion by someone to help make this fight a lot easier and go a lot quicker. So, yeah. I am getting Escanor vibes from her, and people are saying that maybe she's Escanor's reincarnation, or a daughter, or maybe a clone if you want to go that route. I hope they don't go that route. But if you could just be Sunshine, just giving a prideful aura to this character, similar to what happened with Escanor, if she does 100% have Sunshine, because despite her saying that she does have, she is the Master of the Sun, she doesn't flat out say that she has Sunshine. I feel like that's what Meliodas is going to confirm in the next few chapters when he meets Gawain. Which, Meliodas is another interesting character to talk about for this arc in this chapter, is that he notices everything that's going on from the castle. He sees the flames of that fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts heading in that direction, but he hangs back as he sees the four knights united, similar to how Bartra's vision stated, because of an assassin of chaos. Meaning that perhaps Pelgard is this assassin of chaos And we still know 100% what's up with Shion, as Tristan just flat out left him with Jade for whatever reason, just to catch up to everybody due to all the commotion. But I feel like Meliodas is going to let them take on Pelgard and see how they work as a team. And if things kind of go badly, he'll just step in and wipe out Pelgard one-on-one, or just knock him out of the city, causing him to retreat and report to Arthur about the entirety of the situation. Now, the interesting thing is that Pelgard didn't recognize Gawain, which means that perhaps no one really knows Gawain's true relation to Arthur. Perhaps Merlin does, maybe more people in his inner circle, but perhaps Pelgard doesn't even notice it, because Gawain was always in a suit of armor from the looks of it was. So that's an interesting thing to look at. But overall, I'm just excited to see where this fight goes. Like I said earlier, I think we're probably going to get like a nice 4v1 against Pelgard, as Percival even stated. He can't fight Pelgard alone. And now with Tristan, Lancelot, and Gawain there, chances are Pelgard is going to lose unless he does some kind of like final shift, power, hidden ability from Chaos or whatever that Arthur granted him in case of an emergency. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because we have seen like stuff like Chaos Staffs or whatever, but Pelgard doesn't seem to have one. And I don't think that's Pelgard's style to just do something like that, as he straight up was like, he did not want to cause an international incident. He just wanted to find Percival and have a one-on-one fight with him and make him his apprentice. He didn't even want to, like, well, do anything in Leonis from the looks of it. But I'm curious to see where this all leads. Depending on how the next chapter goes on, I feel like this arc's basically wrapping up its conclusion. We already had Guinevere, we've had Pelgard reaching Leonis and interacting with the Four Knights assembling, we met Meliodas and Bartra and everyone. And we just need to get that final piece of information on why the Four Knights are a thing. Perhaps what Gawain's power is, and if it is Sunshine, how she got it. And like Arthur's overall goal, which I feel like is something tied into like the anime's introduction of, you know, the human and non-human worlds getting separated. That could be a full theory in and of itself, but I just want to wait for a bit more information about it to make a full video on it. But overall, a really nice chapter. I'm glad that we finally got, after 60 chapters, all 4 title characters are in the same page, in the same place at the exact same time. And I'm just overall hyped to see how this story plays out, as it's obvious that Nakaba has really wanted this to be a big, like, Avengers Assemble moment, where all 4 are just together facing off a strong threat. And Pelgard has been someone we've been introduced to at the very beginning of the story, so it makes sense for us to have these characters face off against a known antagonist in the series. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this chapter. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below on what do you think is going to happen next. What do you think about this chapter in the Four Knights Assembly? What do you think about what we got with snippets of Gawain's personality and how she's acting, and how seemingly stronger she is than Pelgard in the sense of just casual firepower? And do you think Meliodas is going to interfere in this fight, or if it's just going to be the Four Knights just taking this opportunity to actually learn how to fight as a unit? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really, really does help. Also, don't forget to check out my Instagram and Twitter if you want to just see what's going on with me in my daily life and what else I'm doing. I'm going to be trying to basically live tweet whenever I read a new series or whatever else I'm reading for any particular series that I'm not covering on the channel at this moment. If you just want to interact with me, then go ahead and follow me over there. And also don't forget to check out my Patreon and Ko-fi accounts if you want to support the channel more directly, as this channel is growing more and more every single day. And I'm planning to do more Four Knights and even 7 Deadly Sins content in the future for the channel, with more theories and discussions and the like. I would really appreciate the support so I can keep making more high quality videos as we move along. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video and review. I look forward to next week, and I hope you all have an awesome day.